All right, everybody.
That's good.
It is 4 o'clock.
And the volume is very loud.
It changes all the time.
It is 4 o'clock. We're going to call the October meeting of the Sherwood Advertising and Promotions Commission to order. Are you ready?
Yep.
We're going to call the meeting to order. Will you call the roll, please?
Charlie,
Here.
Danny,
Here.
Nita, here. Jeff,
Here.
Josh,
Here.
Marina.
Here. The minutes were mailed out by Tanya previously. Did everyone have a chance to look over those?
Move for approval of the minutes as presented.
Charlie, and a second by Jeff. There we have a motion by Charlie, second by Jeff. Call the roll, please.
Charlie,
Aye.
Danny,
Yes.
Nita. Yes. Jeff,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Marina.
Yes. All right, so the minutes were approved. Financials, Debbie is not here today. We did have something presented by her in our packets, and that is not proprietary, so no one needs to leave. We'll just discuss it up here. We do have several restaurants that are 1 month behind, which will get delinquent notices. We have 1, 2, 3 restaurants which are 2 months behind. Those get violation notices, and we have no restaurants that are 3 months behind. At this time, we're going to call Colleen up here. She will be going over we talked in our budget workshop about CDs and CD rates, and she'll be coming up here to talk about that.
All right, so I got two different rates from, banks in the area, and I asked about whether, this was like a $350,000 CD potentially, or $500,000, just to give a range to see. And the best rate that we received right now was 4.54%. And obviously this can change. That was for 6 months, which right now, because the rates, are higher 12 months out, the rates are going to be lower. 6 months is usually kind of easier, and then you can renew at that point if you want.
Minimum deposit?
No, it would just be, if we picked a certain amount, like around 350 or something like that. So potentially if we had a $350,000 deposit with that interest rate for a 6 month period of time, you'd be looking at potentially, around $7,900 of interest earned over that 6 month period. And that would just be in that CD. But so that would be fairly close to what the A&P account has received in interest, for a year's worth of time. So additionally, depending on the city's other accounts have a rate on their checking. And so I did kind of a calculation, assuming if we were able to get a higher interest rate on our checking account, that you could potentially be, looking at about $60,000 a year worth of interest between, whether you invested in a CD or you had a higher interest rate on your checking account. And, splitting the difference between a CD and checking, or just having a higher interest rate on checking, it is not a large dollar amount of difference. I mean, within, a couple thousand of dollars.
So potentially, if we rolled that 6 months one time, we could double the amount of interest that we've made just on our regular, because we're looking at a little over $15,000 in interest for 1 year. And you say $7,900 is what we've made in a year where we are currently. So we could double our interest just with $350,000 investment.
Right, and I mean, potential, we don't know where rates will be in 6 months.
You don't know where rates will be in 6
yes,
months, but
it would be more than...
It's potential. It's everything's potential when you talk about investments. But.
Yes.
Can I ask, have you checked with the current not naming any names, have you checked with the current bank that we're banking with on CD rates?
Yes, not for this specific one because I reached out to the two that have historically given us the highest rates. Even though I email about 5 local banks every time we shop for CDs just to compare rates. But I've been in talks with them about reviewing our account for interest rates and that kind of
Okay.
thing.
All right, so what we need to do is, since you're still in talks with our current account holder, we probably need to check with them on this also, and so make sure we have everything together before we decide on anything, correct?
Yes, I think that would be fine, but it also wouldn't hurt to decide to, invest in a CD now. I mean, we don't, we have CDs with multiple banks, so it doesn't necessarily coincide with the, where the deposit
Okay.
funds are.
And these interest rates are gonna be trending down. So
Okay.
waiting another month before we authorize y'all to take action on this would just be losing money. So, I think probably we need to authorize, the action to be taken if we're gonna go this way now, so that sometime between now and next meeting, this will already have happened and we won't lose money because of declining interest rates. Anybody think that way?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Longer you wait, the bigger chance you're gonna lose. And there's another cut possibly coming.
My opinion on this would be that we have 3 banks submit proposals for us to review in a written document. And I thought something we should consider, and I don't like to wait a month, but I had an idea of, since we have pretty substantial reserves, maybe we put $500,000 on a 12-month CD. We put $500,000 on a 6-month CD, right? We've still got reserves past that. So we get the benefit, of a good rate on the 6-month. We get won't be much less on the 12-month. But within a year, we can redo them again. We don't go too far out, but we've got a substantial amount just sitting there. So I would even encourage us to do a larger amount to get an interest, but not tied up so long. But I don't know if we should actually, do that in the form of a motion and then have discussion, or how we need to do that to handle that properly.
How much are the reserves again?
Well, we don't have our current financials because we're right at the first of the month, but our reserves as of August 1st were $1.6.
1.6.
Yeah, and I looked, our bank account balance as of this week was, a little over 1.5, so.
So even if we just did 350 and 350 with what you're talking about, you still got substantial reserves. You're still looking at just under or just over $1 million in reserves based on if the way things have been working. And then
The number you shared, our bank checking balance, is that separate from our reserves, or that's all included?
With A&P, they have one account, so that's.
Just
So
one.
total.
It's,
So what do you normally need for a normal,
That would be
month-to-month reserves
that would be
for
a
a checking
financial
account?
person.
If you're going to look at them in segregated items, do you generally like to hold at least $300,000 or $400,000 in checking if you're going to go invest $600, $700?
right, it definitely varies by fund, so I would say, with large projects, that if you have a need for a certain amount of funds all at once, you don't necessarily want things to be tied up where then,
Yeah.
if our revenues that were coming in were less than, if we had a larger project that was a one-time, expense because the timing of things during the year. So the more that you invest, the more you have to kind of pay, closer attention to, your outflows and the timing of that and when they hit throughout the year.
And our revenues have been flat all year long.
Yeah.
Our revenues have not We haven't had the revenues that we expected, basically, so.
Perhaps we should start with the 6-month and see what revenues look like the first, you know,
Do
the
we
first
have to
few
have a,
months.
I'm sorry, do we have to have a minimum?
No, there's no minimum.
What, maybe like
I mean,
about
I'm sure there is a minimum, but
I mean, what about like a 250,000 or something like that?
yes, that's doable.
And we could start with the first few months on the 6-month and then,
Because I'm kind of like Josh. I think we need to have three financial institutions, and I would like one of them to be the one that we're currently banking with. I think they deserve a shot to.
Yes, I just reached out to get an idea because usually what happens is it's a more formal process, and then you have, you know, some of the banks you only have 10 days to respond to lock in the rate. So I just reached out to get an idea because if we weren't going forward, or you know, depending on what other information, you know, it was just who I could hear from.
Is it something we can look at? You find out in the next week, and then she could email us, and we can.
No,
make a
we
decision.
can't
Or
do
we have to
that.
do it at a meeting.
We have to have a
I
special.
mean, I can request quotes staggered before our next meeting so that you can decide within 10 days of me having received quotes from the banks.
We have to have a special. We would have to have a special meeting. We can't. I could send them out to everybody, and we could review them, and then we would have to have a special meeting to vote on it. So that
I
we're.
like the idea she just said, if she got quotes ready to be within the 10-day window for our next meeting, and then we can have the actual numbers of things, the different banks to look at, and then we
6
could
and 12
actually
months.
vote on it.
6 and 12, yes. I think the rate I received for 12 months was it was below 4. It was between, I think it was around 3.75. So,
And we do have certain obligations we have to pay every month. I mean, we have an obligation that we have to pay the city every month. We have the obligation to our bond payment every month, so we need to make sure we meet our, have enough for our obligations every month. So we don't want to tie all of our revenues up, so.
right. You could also have multiple 6-month CDs, but the maturity dates are staggered so
Right.
that, every 3 months
That's what I
one's
was-
coming for renewal.
that's what I was getting at when I was starting the thought earlier, but my mouth gets ahead of my brain sometimes. That you start with a 6-month CD, an investment, maybe the 250 or 300 in the 6-month CD, wait a couple of months, see what the income is looking like. If the income continues to be flat like it was last year, maybe even wait till January and see what the income's going to look like in the next year, and then decide on your investment if you want to do a 6-month or a 12-month or something then, and just like you said, stagger the CDs, stagger the renewal dates and things like that, and not make a decision now about investing a bunch of money in a bunch of CDs, but do it one at a time and just take your time with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Colleen, for presenting that information to us. Lauren, you're up. City happenings. Lauren, and I guess you're going to have Corey and the 2 Matts, too. Lauren, Corey, and the 2 Matts.
So a couple weeks ago, we wrapped up our concert series with Tragically White, and the mayor called me on Monday with the geofencing, and we had 926, is that right? 926 people that were there. It looked awesome out there, all spread out everywhere, people mingling, having a good time, safe environment, food trucks did good, just no complaints.
Good concert.
You were there, Marina.
I was there. It was a great concert.
What did you think about it?
The concert was good. My kind of music. I like them. I wish all the concerts were like that.
Yeah, but we're growing.
No, I mean, I wish all the concerts were like that kind of music.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's what I meant.
I'm Sergeant Harris. This is Officer Faircloth, Matt and Matt. Want to say thank you for the donation for our night to unite, which is tomorrow, 5:30 to 8:30. We'll have Saucy Pig. He'll be donating free food. Those are going to be wings, the jumbo wings. We'll have a sauce bar that's going to be complimentary as well. It's free for patrons. We'll have music. It'll start at 7, kind of like the concert series, playing off of that as well.
Can I ask a question? Because I have had some questions
Yeah.
on what type of music. And it's not for me.
It's-
What type of music?
So his name is Christian Davis. He is a country gospel, country,
Yeah, like a
southern,
gospel country.
Gospel country, okay.
Family-oriented music.
family oriented.
Yes, okay.
He'll do some covers and he'll do some of his own songs as well.
Okay,
But we plan on having State Police's antique car on display. Little Rock Motors will be out there. Multiple first responding agencies will be there. MIMS, fire trucks, Gravel Ridge Fire and their antique truck as well.
Sherwood Fire.
Sherwood Fire, yeah. And what happy to have you all out. Oh, a helicopter will be landing as well in the back parking lot.
What's the time?
Oh, wow.
5:30 to 8:30.
And that'll be Med Flight is who is coming to land.
And it's kind of two stages, 5:30 to 7. It's kind of mingle, look at equipment, talking, meet and greet type stuff. Then we'll transition into our concert at 7 o'clock. Okay.
Oh yeah, free ice cream by I'm forgetting I didn't have it written down. Thank you. Free ice cream by the ice cream truck. They'll be handing out free desserts as well.
Yeah, we promoted on the line on last week,
Yeah.
Fairchild.
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
Matt.
The other Matt, yeah. There's anything else I'm forgetting?
I
I'm
think
sure.
that's everything.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good night.
Oh, yeah, we're expecting a big turnout.
I bet. Free wings and free ice cream and dessert. Who
Okay.
can pass that up, and free music?
That's right.
All right. Oh yeah, and an obstacle course, an inflatable 64-foot obstacle course.
I think all the kids are gonna have a great time, and all the adults will have a great time, and so everybody needs to come out tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know you just want to talk about the last event and the next event, but I'm just going to mention a night of remembrance, November 7th at 6:30 at City Hall Park.
November 7th, 6:30.
We're going to begin with a prayer gathering. Pastor Yabaro with Christian Assembly is going to bless us with prayer, and we're going to have residents light a candle, put it in a bag, and walk along the pathway where we're going to have musicians playing. And we're talking, actually the Mats are trying to get Coffee Coop to come out. We're working out a deal with them right now to come out and possibly sell or give away hot cocoa for the evening. Right now, Winterfest is going great. Heather, that money you guys gave Heather, she's doing great with that, with promoting the city events. She appeared on the Vine.
Well, I appeared on the Vine with the Mats for Night to Night, and I did mention Night of Remembrance, and then I teased on the Winterfest.
Okay.
And I will be back on the Vine the week of Winterfest, and Midnight South is going to join me. They are going to play a brand new holiday song for the first time on air at that appearance. I have banner ads going on the Democrat Gazette online. I have a Facebook advertising. It's going on 4 digital billboards tomorrow.
Okay. And that's what we have right now.
All right, so we will look forward to hearing more about Winterfest at our November meeting, so.
And everything that you need to know is in that newsletter I just gave you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Lauren. All right, Blake, you don't have your sidekick with you today, so it's all on you.
I got a sidekick over there next to me though, so she'll be ready to shine.
I don't think so, she's busy taking minutes.
What do you got for trail lights?
Nothing. We're good right now.
Sean did say that we'll go, they'll start getting up, double checking everything, checking lights, middle of next month. So we're ready, or actually middle of this month, so we're ready to crank it out.
Okay.
Get the test runs on everything and then, so but not a whole lot to report on trail lights.
Okay. So we'll pass in on the Trail of Lights for today and go on to the projects.
The City Hall pickleball that's out here, we told you last time, we're waiting on a punch list. That punch list is complete. We're paid in full on that deal, and we are good to go. That is officially off the books. The project is complete.
Project is
Very
complete,
satisfied.
paid in full.
Is that the first of Sean's
All right.
punch lists he's ever completed?
That is,
Just out of curiosity.
no, I got another punch list for you in a minute.
Okay.
No,
All right,
that's, we have 2 of them completed on this
All right.
summer,
Okay, so we're gonna say project's complete, paid in full.
Correct.
Okay, we can mark that off.
The old soccer complex restroom, we had a situation with plumbing. They gotta come out and make some repairs. We are not punched out on that one yet, so they got some things they need to do on that before we, open it up.
Okay,
So
Any idea?
I would hope it was already done. So I'm not sure on the time frame. I would hope that we should have been ready for.
Yeah, season's in
I know.
full swing.
Yep. We're very well aware that we are not excited about it, and I think we've relayed that message to the individual doing the work. So they're up there as we speak. So they should be up there as we speak. So, but yeah, that tunnel of lights. Sean's purchasing equipment or the materials to build that and get that going. So we anticipate that going up as soon as the Winterfest stuff and everything starts cranking out. We get the lights going on that. So
and you skipped the repaving of baseball complex, which I've passed this around.
y'all have seen the befores and
Yeah,
afters.
looks
Yeah.
great.
I think if you look
Looks
at those befores, it's long overdue, and we're very,
Yes,
very
it looks
appreciative
great.
of the funds that y'all gave us for that project. Me personally, that was one of the things that I really wanted to knock out. You know, having a baseball background, I spent a lot of time out there. I coached a lot out there, and I take my kid out there a lot, even still to work. And that was something that was of a tremendous need. We're very excited to have finished it off. It is complete. Punch list is complete on that
So
one.
that one's done and paid for,
That
you
is
can
done
mark that
and
one
paid
out.
Yes, and
Okay.
we are. I think the before and after speak volumes of where we were with that. So I think that was a very much needed, very appreciated project that is complete.
Okay,
And I didn't mean to skip it. I forgot I gave.
That's
the
all right.
pictures. So
playground.
playground, as y'all can see right out here, some of the equipment's going up. They are doing the sidewalk and the curb of the pouring place. So we are, they're moving pretty quickly. So we're still on target for that end of October opening date, and I mean, it looks good. The colors look really good in my opinion too. I do not pick out the colors. I take no credit for colors, but I do like them. So
End of October, all
yes,
right,
we're still on that target. So
okay. While you're up there, let's just go into,
the trail.
old business, the Trail of Lights building. Electricity's all we're waiting on that,
Yes,
right?
that's correct. We are ready for that, and I'm ready for that to be off your list. So
I am too. All right, now, one other thing, since on the soccer fields, I don't think everybody knows, but there was some damage done. And we had an individual that went up there, or individuals that, did some donuts and stuff up there on the fields and caused like $30,000 worth of damage on the new soccer fields. You want to report on that, please?
the individuals have been identified. This was the first time we are going to turn it loose on the fields. We met down there with Shane Hill, who's over, and Mike Sheridan, who are over the soccer program. There was a lot of concerns of the initial ruts. Austin and his staff went and put sand in there. What we had was right after it got done, which helped us, we had about 6 days of rain. So to our benefit, after putting the sand and stuff, the grass is already growing. It's already filling in. I don't feel like they haven't missed any time. So the initial scare of this season's going to have to be pushed off of that field is, in my opinion, gone. The grass is growing and there's some sandy spots which aren't ideal. But we were kind of nervous we're going to have to cut a lot of it out and sod it, but we have mitigated that problem. The grass is growing in, and we were, rain bothers us a lot, but this time it helped us out. So I think in a short period of time, you're not going to be able to see the ruts.
We
So,
talked in Parks and Rec about identifying the culprit. They were identified? Are they looking to reimburse the city or?
I'm not sure where that is.
Okay.
I'm not sure where that is. I just know they were identified, and
Okay.
the investigator did their job. So
All right, I appreciate that. All right. Updated history book, it is at the printer, and we should get it before our next meeting. If that happens, we will distribute that accordingly. Okay, new business. Before we go to the budget, since we do have a guest here, I'd rather him go ahead and come up here, and that way he can leave before we go into the budget, in case that takes a bit. This is Michael Seals, council member. April Broderick had contacted me about him, and he asked if he could present this to us.
I don't remember if I did I give you a copy?
I don't think no, okay. From time to time, we've been asked to sponsor events. We do not sponsor teams, but we sponsored a 7A golf tournament. We sponsored the lunches for that event. In the past, we have sponsored the Sherwood Sharks as far as just sponsoring the pool rental for the year. So we sponsored that event. Back in the day, we've sponsored did we not sponsor something out there with a Bush Classic? We sponsored something out there. I don't remember what it was we sponsored, but
That was a long time ago.
it was a long time ago. We sponsored some stuff out there, but we never sponsor teams. We don't sponsor teams. Now, I explained that to Mr. Seals, but he's wanting us not to sponsor a team. Could you, when you get up here to speak, could you give your full name and address for the recording, please? And anyway, so I explained that to him, so he's going to explain what he's here to propose, and your information's in the little handout he's given you. So go ahead, sir.
Michael Sills, 7 Greenview Circle, Sherwood 72120. I'm representing Momentum Grappling. We're a tournament, not a team. So we are running a tournament similar to a golf tournament where teams will sign up and come participate. We are running a grappling tournament, and so teams from across the state have signed up to come participate. Some of them are one-on-one tournaments. Some of them are team 5-on-5 team tournaments. If you're not familiar with jiu-jitsu, it's similar to wrestling, but with submissions and chokes. It's not MMA. There's no blood. There's no violence. It's a very safe thing. There's judges and all sorts of things, but it's safe, but it's like wrestling with submissions. And so what we're asking for is a sponsorship from you guys. This is our first tournament, but we already have a second one scheduled for March. This one's on November 2nd at Sylvan Hills High School Arena. We expect, based on similar events in the area, we expect a turnout of 200 or 300 spectators and about 60 athletes. So it should be a good thing for the city. It's kind of the short and sweet of it. I left a handout that explains a little about what a jiu-jitsu tournament is. Some of the specific information is listed in there.
So at this time, if anyone has any questions for Mr. Seals, this would be the time to ask.
Mr. Seals, the date's November 2nd. What is the time of the event that day? Is it morning, afternoon, all day?
It's going to be afternoon. We
Okay.
haven't got all the athletes signed up yet, so it's based on how many people sign up for how early it starts. But it'll be afternoon.
So at the earliest, you would anticipate what time and when would it end?
Noon and end around 5.
Okay.
So where are y'all based out of?
My house. It's just a small business. We don't have a building because we host tournaments at places like Sylvan Hills High School. So it's not I don't know how to explain it other than that. We don't have a location. We're just a from home business.
Were any of you at the, out at Camp Robinson? I can't remember what they call that weekend, the days. I saw some of that going on out there.
Was it Minuteman Days?
Thank you, Minuteman Days. Were you out there for that?
No, sir.
Anyway, yeah, they had several areas set up outside and people doing that, so I'm familiar with what you were talking about. I wasn't until that day, as far as similar to wrestling, but with the chokes and stuff. 'Cause you're right, it's not near as violent.
It's not as violent as people think it is,
Yeah.
and it's getting more and more popular
Okay.
as wrestling grows. across the country. Jiu-jitsu was kind of, for people that wrestled in high school and they get out of high school and they go, hey, I liked that. What can I do? They don't have adult wrestling, but they do have jiu-jitsu. So that's sort of driving the growth and popularity of it.
And I think that's why April got you in touch with me, is because she was into the wrestling part of stuff. It says on here 50 to 60 kids, and you may have said this, I apologize if I didn't hear this. What age range are the kids?
Starting from 10. We have it broken down per age range, and I don't know if it's listed there or not, but it's like 10 to 12, 13 to 15, 15 to 17, and then 18 and up,
Okay.
based on age and weight. So we want to make
So
sure
it's
people-
weight, okay, age and weight, okay.
So there's not a 200-pound 18-year-old boy wrestling a 90-pound.
So it's kind of
13-year-old.
like, it's kind of like high school wrestling in a
Very
way
similar.
that you have weight.
As far as the weights and the brackets, yes, ma'am, very similar to that.
Okay. Okay, so your ask is here today for us to be a sponsor, and you do have sponsorship levels.
Yes, ma'am, there are 4 sponsorship levels.
Okay. Okay, guys. He has 4 sponsorship levels here.
Marina, we just had that workshop, I should know this, but what type of budget in this area do we have
This
left
would be under
for this year?
advertising, and we have money.
Okay.
Mr. Seals, are you hosting one of these in North Little Rock or surrounding cities?
Not yet. Eventually, as it grows, more than likely, but right now it's good. The one in March will also be at Sylvan Hills.
Okay.
Arena.
What led you to choosing the city of Sherwood for your events?
I know people around here and I train. So I train at a jiu-jitsu gym, LDMA off of Kiel, so I'm in Sherwood.
Okay. And do you live here in Sherwood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
So presumably there will be Sherwood citizens participating in this event.
Yes, sir.
But I think the thing is that we want to make sure that there's going to be some out-of-town people coming that would benefit the area restaurants and our hotels, that would stay in our 2
Yes, ma'am.
hotels, and that would come to our dining establishments.
Yes, ma'am.
That would-
Typically, the way this works, people come either the night before, the day of, participate in the tournament, and then after it's over, usually if a gym or a team has 3 or 4 people, people come to support them, so that group goes out to eat afterwards.
Right,
At local
so-
restaurants or whatever.
So they might, go to Popeyes and get something, or go to Shotgun Dan's or get something, or if they get up early enough, they might go to Sunnyside and get something, so, and Faith is not here, but Faith that sits right here is from, 2 Sisters, so, presumably they would frequent one of our Sherwood restaurants or stay in one of our 2 hotels, so we could recoup
Yes, ma'am.
our sponsorship money, okay? All right.
I'd like to make a motion that we choose the gold sponsor at $1,000 for the event.
Second.
So we have a motion by Josh, second by
Charlie did.
Charlie. She'll call the roll.
Charlie,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
Nita,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Marina.
Yes. All right, Mr. Seals.
Thank you very much. I
If you
appreciate
will send an invoice to the city of Sherwood Attention Parks to Diana Price. And you can be excused if you'd like.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Seals, would you like these back to use again, or? Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
That's encouraging.
Okay, now we're down to the last item, which is the budget. We all went over this and around the table. And when I got home, we had added this up, and yes, it didn't add up. Of course, obviously, it didn't add up. So, keeping the revenue as it was at $115,000 a month. Is Colleen still here?
No, she had to leave to go do FEMA stuff.
Okay. So at $115,000 a month, which is what we had budgeted for this year. That's gonna be 1.3 million, 1.380,000. Interest earned, I left it 80,000, or excuse me, 8,000, and knocked down the contributions from Trail of Lights down to 25,000, because we don't know what that's gonna, we have no idea what that's gonna look
It's
like.
gonna be totally different this year.
So we have no clue. So that makes our income at 1,413,000. Okay. So then we get down to economic development. We all agreed that we would knock that down to 40,000. We agreed to knock the contingency down to 1,000. We agreed to do the Parks and Rec contribution as the same, 360,000. We agreed to do advertising down to 45,000. And I really don't want to mark it down any lower than that because of things like this that come up. Like, we still have people that are gonna, want sponsorships. And from time to time, we have the air base that comes and wants us to sponsor the air show or the Air Force Ball. And even though we're not gonna have an air show this coming year, I do know that. That's what we are advertising and promotion, so we do need to have some wiggle room in there, but we are gonna leave that at 45,000. We did agree on 20,000 for the 4th of July for the fireworks. The events category, we were asked for 54,000, and I put that at 50,000 just to kind of make this somewhat halfway balanced. Which is still not balanced. Events category, it's 50. Okay, office supplies, Colleen asked that we were gonna do it at 1,000. She asked that it be 1,500 in case they had to buy any checks. Trail of Lights, I met with Blake and Diana this week, and we agreed that we could pare that down to about 38,000, we thought. And just because we thought that would probably get it. Building maintenance, 50,000, that's going to be for the paving of the road behind the big field that will get us into the Trail of Lights. Capital disbursements, we were asked for $500 and $5,000. I put that at 500,000, so we're gonna have to try to wiggle that down to 500,000. Bond payments has to be 340,000, and that still gets us at 1,445,500, and it still gets us upside down at $32,500. So we're still upside down $32,500. So my question to you guys is: do you want to take this out of reserves? What do you guys want to do?
On the income for the restaurant and hotel tax, you said that's what we've done this year, what?
That's what.
I wanna make sure I'm understanding.
That's what I budgeted, cause I just guessed at 115 a month. And basically, right now, we're at 114,777 something.
Okay, so we're basically doing real close to that.
Right now.
Okay.
So I'm not confident enough to raise it any, because I don't see us, unless we have some crystal ball that some big restaurants moving in that I don't know about. I'm not confident that we need to raise that right now, so. I don't know that we have any other income. We used to have income from Sherwood Fest and 4th of July when we had booth rentals and sponsorships, but we don't have that anymore, so we don't have any other income coming in, so.
No, there was no income at Sherwood Fest. You lost over 23,000.
We had income, we did have income we had from booth rentals, though.
You did, but it was, but you spent way more when you took all, the bottom line was a deficit of over 23,000.
And where was that deficit from?
Because the money that you spent, the booths did not remotely offset any of that.
Right, but that was income, though, that we had that came in. Even though we spent we had a budget of whatever, we still had income coming in that helped to offset it.
That's what I'm saying. After
Right, but what I'm saying is, when we do these other events like Winterfest, we don't have, we still,
They have zero, these others tend to have zero income.
okay,
bring
Charlie,
events.
Charlie, go ahead, Charlie.
What?
Go ahead.
These others tend to have zero, they add zero on our revenue side of our balance sheet, whereas that one added something to the revenue side of our balance sheet.
Winterfest does have booth fees,
All right,
just
so,
like Sherwood Fest did.
okay, then we will be happy to,
Well, happy to accept them, right?
we'll be happy to accept it then, absolutely. We'll be happy to accept it, but, so, then we'll be happy to put income from events in there. So what kind of income do you think we might get from these events?
Right now, we have about 30 vendors signed up. The vendor fee is $50 per booth. We also have 11 food trucks. That's going to be at Winterfest. So
All right.
right now, we have a total of 41.
Would you mind emailing me that, Lauren? I would greatly appreciate it, because that might help us, and it might help this bottom line on this, and it might help for next year's budget as well. That,
Don't forget the interest too, that Colleen brought up.
right, so the interest might change also, so that,
Yeah, I was gonna say we're very close on numbers, and we spent quite some time last week hashing all this out. Is it appropriate to increase the budgeted amount?
I think if we're getting income in from the booth rentals next year, this is gonna be for next year, and if we anticipate, go ahead, Lauren, come on up.
We're gonna have the interest, we think, from the CD investments.
Right, so we'll have
We
more
can have some booth
interest.
rent from this.
We'll have
We're
booth
so
rental.
close, I feel like we adopt the budget we hashed out last week.
Well, we're not
and-
gonna adopt it till next month anyway.
Okay.
We'll adopt it in November. So this is just a presented budget, and then I'm just going to, that's why I'm gonna go through this today and go do this worksheet kind of and go over it, so.
And I think part of the plan is for these events that
Because
that
Lauren
are
wasn't
growing.
here at the budget workshop, so that's
Yeah,
that's
I'm
good to
sorry, I
know.
was
That's-
not able to make it.
And that's fine, I understand, that's fine.
Okay, the plan for all of these events that we're now doing within the city is to grow it, make it bigger. We're gonna bring out vendors. You know, I think next year, bringing out vendors for 4th of July is a great idea, because in the past, we've only done food trucks. So we can always talk about these events, the concert series, bringing out vendors for that, and not just food trucks. So I think there's potential with all of these events that we have going on, because last year I think we had Sherwood Fest, Easter Egg Hunt, Trail of Lights, and the parade. We had 4 events. This year, I mean, the concert series alone was a total of 5 events, including the movie night. So with crowds coming out, the last concert bringing under 1,000 people. So I think we have the potential of growing these events and opening them up to vendors coming out.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
It's just, and the whole thing about, what I was talking about Sherwood Fest is, yes, we may have lost money totally, but we did have some income coming back to
Right.
offset.
Right, and
So-
I just want you to know, because I have gone through the folders, the old binders from
Sure.
2018 of Sherwood Fest, and Winterfest is going to be no waste of A&P money. We're going to bring out what we need for that day. We're not going to waste any money. We're gonna bring in the vendors, we're gonna bring in the food trucks.
That's
And
awesome.
Yes,
That's
our
awesome.
plan is just to make it successful and not waste money. So
Perfect.
I did realize that in the past, we did some things that we could have done another way, but that's neither here nor there. I just want you guys to know that the money that you guys do give us, we pin it down. We don't waste anything. And Diana can attest to that.
And I trust you, I trust you.
I tell you
So-
what, you guys are talking up Winterfest so much. I have spent many Christmases in New York City, but now I'm expecting y'all to just make that look like, podunk.
I think you're probably, the next thing I think I'm gonna hear is you're gonna wanna rent a snow machine.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
We have a small one on Arkansas Garden. The lady that owns Arkansas Garden, she is going to be borrowing us. She has a small snow machine, and we're gonna put it in the area of the gazebo where Santa is going to be taking pictures. We're gonna have a beautiful carousel ride. Heather included that in the newsletter. We're bringing out a castle bounce house, so we're planning on having vendors all around City Hall. So
Very good. All right, well, if you wouldn't mind emailing me all that information as far as the vendors, and I will put that in under income from events, and that will help balance out. Then I'll get the information from Colleen about the interest, and then that will help balance all this out, and then I can maybe add in the $5,000 for capital disbursements and the $4,000 for events, and then we will be good to go. Because I think those are only two things I knocked off, so.
yes,
okay.
ma'am. Good. All right, thank you.
All right, and we will,
And I'm okay with taking a little bit out of the reserve to make it balanced.
I don't think we'll have to, so.
And Josh, you were talking about, since we're so close and we're talking about the interest coming in, we're talking about the booth coming in, going back to the numbers that we had last meeting, the one that I selfishly would like to go back is capital disbursements, go back up, so we fully fund that playground. That we've now got pictures of at our.
Oh,
These
yes,
are
so-
the final renderings showing it at your place. You've got final renderings showing it in the brown and green, Sherwood brown and green, and you'll notice that they've added trees to it to help it fit in with that little forested area where it would sit at Sherwood Park. And it's now got the zip line in the view one. It's got the zip line up there and everything. So, yeah, I would selfishly like that one to go back up to where it was.
The sooner that is approved, then the sooner they can go ahead and order the equipment with it. And there's, we are only able to get one zip line. However, he said that we could go ahead and apply for an offsetting grant that he's gonna help us with to give us the two.
Okay.
But if I can at least get a definite from you all that this is what you all wanna do, because I've gotta get this in if we're gonna get that extra money.
Okay.
For the second zip line like I showed you.
All right, without approving the budget today, but we know we are in favor of this particular item, because if we have to, we could take it out of reserves.
I'll make a motion that we approve moving forward on the playground.
At Lake
The board
Cherry-
will commit to the budget amount that will be approved in November
At Lake Cherrywood.
at Lake Cherrywood.
Second.
All right, if you want to call the roll after that. That was a motion by Josh with a second by Nita.
Charlie,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
Nita. Yes. Jeff,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Marina.
Yes. Okay. All right, well, I think that is all the business we have. So we will actually have a corrected budget to vote on in November, and we will not meet in December. Is there anything else that anyone needs to bring before the commission?
Move to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
I do have a question.
We adjourned, sorry.
Wait. It's a question. Oh, I'm sorry, we did not talk about the parade at Winterfest.
It's just a question.
Yes, this is probably, is this a city council question?
No, I'm just mentioning that if you guys wanna come to the parade, to do a float,
Yes.
just more people.
Yeah, so the businesses, if we have the businesses if your business would like to do a float at the parade, Lauren is in charge of the parade.
I have to work that day.
In the article, there's QR code, you can scan it.
And to the general, and to
Make
the,
things way too easy.
and to the general public out there.
I said she made things way too easy. Everything's right here.
I have to.
To the general public out there, we need entries to the parade, please. Thank you. We are adjourned.
And we were gonna do it this year, and now they're doing